What time is it? It's journey time with Stampin' Up. Come join me on another creative journey as we create a wiper card. This is really such a simple card. My name's Kathy Haynes and thank you for joining me. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing that we're going to use, we'll be using the Jar of Flowers stamp set along with the punch, the mason jar punch. So it's a bundle in the new catalog that I just love. We're going to be creating this card. We're also using a sentiment, and the sentiment is from another set, and I will let you know which set it's from. I'm just not good at names. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's put this aside. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I want to stamp the jar, and I'm going to do that with some balmy blue or seaside spray, something kind of light that I should have had out and ready. Here it is. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp that up, and then using the punch, I'm going to line that up. Actually got to cut off some of this bottom here to get it in there far enough. Okay, line that up real good. Punch out that jar. Now, I want to add the stems and the water line. And I did a bunch of these, so I want to show you how I did that using the Stamparatus. So let me go ahead and grab my Stamparatus. Here it is. And let me show you a couple of tricks that I do. Alrighty. Okay, I want to grab a magnet from the back. It comes with 2 magnets. I'm going to grab one, and I'm going to grab my water and my stem and my punched out piece. Now, if you're going to be making multiples of this, what I suggest is that you outline. So I'm just going to use a marker, or you can use a pencil, but so that it'll show up kind of dark, I'm going to go ahead and use a marker in this case. This is one of my older markers from the old blends. And let me go ahead and use, because I really didn't want to get that all over that. So I'm going to put it right like this, and I'm going to outline it. So now each time I lay that jar down, that's where I want my jar to go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put my jar right here using my magnet. I'm going to hold it up here. Well, first for the twigs, for the stems, I'm going to go ahead and put it off to the side. I'm going to lay them where I want them to be. Okay, so I think that's good. All right. And then I'm going to shut this side and open it. Then I'm going to lay my water, keep this in line, I'm going to lay my water down, and I'm actually going to do the back of the water stamp. So I want to show you the difference. Okay, so you'll understand that this is a 2-sided stamp. Now if I wanted to, I could stamp, I'll just use balmy blue again, and I could stamp like that and get half a jar. But what I want to do is I want to use the back, the flat side. So I'm going to put the flat side down on my project. So I put this right up here. And then I'm going to shut this side. And this is what I love about the Stamparatus, because when I was doing this, I just completed 3 projects, And I had 3 projects worth of stamps on these 2 things, because you can use this side, you could take it out and flip it and use the other side. So you have so many options. So here we've got that. All right, I want to see if this one, yep, it's just perfect. My magnet is absolutely perfect. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some green. So I'm going to take some old olive and I'm going to do the stems of the flowers. So I'm going to ink that up and stamp. And what I love about the Stamparatus, I don't have to worry. If it wasn't perfect, which it is, I could re-stamp it. So now I have my stems done. And then I'm going to take my balmy blue. I'm actually going to take, I think I will take another color. I'm going to take Pool Party. This is an older stamp set, but just, I want it to not be the same color as the jar. So now I'm inking up the back, because remember I placed the solid side down, because that's what I want to stamp, is a solid. Okay. And there I have my water line. Isn't that great? So then I could just take this out, stick another jar in, and do the same thing. And so when you're doing a bunch of cards, this just makes it so every stamp is going to be perfect. So I wanted you guys to see that. Okay, now let me put this aside. Never store these like that, so take them off and put them like that, because they'll break the hinges. All right, so now the next thing I want to do, I have my jar, is I have flowers that I've already punched out from the stamp set. And I've already colored them with blends. Now, the first time I stamped the whole thing and colored the whole thing, so you'll be coloring the whole thing. Then there's a second time that I stamp it. I'm only going to want to color those 2 flowers. Now that's not how I colored them. I'm just showing you that I only want to color or cut out those 2, so I don't have to color the rest. So now I have my flowers. I have the full set and I have 2 flowers. Now sometimes when you fussy cut, which you know fussy cutting is not my favorite thing to do, but sometimes when you fussy cut, the edges, you know, look a little white. Here's the trick, is you just take your, so in the green areas, I'm going to take this and run along the edges, and that just takes that stark white out of it. Okay, and then over here, just get some of these edges. So this is where all the green is. Now for the parts where there's yellow, I'll simply take my yellow blend or marker and color right along the edge. Now you see how that kind of takes this darkness away and any, you know, flaws in your cutting. If you're not an amazing cutter like me, fussy cutting is not my forte. Let's just say that out loud. And so that just kind of takes the, you know, the cut marks out a little bit. So that's just a trick I thought I'd share with you. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to put our card together. So I've already pre-cut everything. What I did was I started with a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, and I scored at 1.5 and 3, 1.5 and 3, straight down my whole piece of paper. And then I started doing my cuts. That way you're not scoring a million pieces. If you're doing 10 cards, you know, and you don't have to score this piece and this piece. And then I cut them to size. So this is 4.5 and this is 2. And then this will technically flip. That's what gives us the fold that we need in this. Okay, so what we're gonna do is take the big piece and we're just gonna start adding our paper. Let me find my snail adhesive. I'm using, this is from the Poppy Moments DSP that retired. So I'm using, like I said, I hate to choose because who wants to get rid of that, but this just works so much better for this card. So I'm going to put that right here. And then don't glue this side down yet, kind of leave it hanging, and I'll show you why in a minute. Then you're going to take your green strip, and again, dimensions and everything will be in the description below. And that's going to go right here. Then you're going to take your strip, and it goes this way. So we're going to put, whoops, before you put the strip on, leave that up. You want to glue this to this piece right here. Okay, and just make it straight. So make this all the way line up, glue that down, then put that on top. There you go. That way you won't have two pieces. You can use the one full strip. Then over here, you're gonna line this up with the corner, and you're going to take a pencil or a mark or something, and you're going to mark. Pencil is best, but of course I can't find my pencil right now, but I'm gonna mark right where that crease is, and I'm gonna put a little dot right under there. Okay? Because I want to just snip that with my scissors. That's why I didn't want to glue this yet. Right there. And then that will have that sneak under there later, see? So it's seamless. I just think that's pretty cool. So again, you just mark right where the bottom will be and the top, and snip to that area. But we're not going to glue this down yet. We are going to go ahead and add our paper here. And it's the opposite of the paper there. Designer series paper makes every project look absolutely amazing, I must say. I didn't used to be a fan, but recently I have really become a fan of designer paper. Then you have a little piece that's cut here for the side. That goes right there. Okay, so that's most of your paper laid out. Now we're going to work on the back of this, and we're going to work on the mechanism. Okay, and the mechanism is a piece of cardstock that is 1 inch by, and I didn't write it down, but let me grab it. Hold on. Okay, 2 seconds. I have to cut this piece. Okay, so it's 1 inch by 2 inches. So I know this is 2 inches. I'm just going to go ahead and cut 1 inch. This piece of scrap. Okay. So you have a piece that's 1 inch by 2 inches. And then you're going to take the corner and you're going to fold it just right so that it meets the edges. Okay. And then you're going to take it over here, and I'm going to put a mark on here just so you can see it better. But this is the crease. Okay, that's the crease of the whole thing. You want this crease here to be on this side of that. So you're going to put it just like that. and you're going to glue down this piece, but you want this edge here to be right past that crease. So this will be going down like that, okay? So I'm going to use a big glue dot for that because I really want it to stay. You can use red tape or you can use tear tape, but I'm going to put a glue dot there. So you're not going to adhere anything on here. You're just going to line this up to the top so it's flush with the top and past your crease. And then you're going to push. So your mechanism, that's it. That's really your mechanism. Now you're going to take a piece of window sheet, and if you notice, the window sheet is so much more thick than acetate. So I really encourage you, if you haven't tried it, to try the Stampin' Up window sheets, because they really are quality. They're so much better. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to take my big bunch of flowers and my little window sheet, and I want to glue this to this. So this is my window sheet. I don't know if you can see it on camera, and glue it to this, but I want to know where it's going to come up. So I'm just going to put one little glue dot on it for right now in case I have to move it, okay? And I'm going to glue it, stick it to my pop-up. Now whatever you put on here can't go past the bottom here. So I'm thinking right about there it's going to have to go on. So let me put one little glue dot and we'll see if this works. Okay, so the trick is to get it not to go past the bottom. So I'm going to push her down just a little bit. Try that. So you kind of got to play with it. I want it up like that when it's open, but I want it to hide. So it's a little bit, comes out down here. So you just keep moving it up. So to move it up means I have to move it this way. There. Okay, then put it down there. And it is okay if it shows a little bit right here. Okay, so you'll see in a minute what I'm talking about. Okay, so leave it so it's not completely secure at this point so you can move it later. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flower pot and I'm going to glue it right here. And put it right about there. Then I'm going to take, I use the Scalloped Circles and then the circled dies, and I use this bubble stamp using Balmy Blue from the Beauty Abound set. It's like a texture. So I want to glue that together. Center that. And this gives us room for error. So I'm still holding it just like this. See, that's coming up just perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this right there. Just put the adhesive on one side. And I guess you go a little bit on the bottom if you want. And I'm going to put that right about there. Okay. So now if it's coming out the bottom still, you can, well, that pushed up looks good. It probably shows a little on that end and you'll never see it because this is here. So you want it to hide so it's a secret. Then I'm going to take my two, I'm going to use glue dots again. Okay, now before I do this, we have a metal top. So using the punch, I just put the silver foil in here and just get the top part, and then I can put this in here so I wouldn't lose it. Now let's see if I can get it out of the baggie. Okay, now I just want to cut off the bottom so it looks like a jar lid. There we go. And this may not show much, but it may pop through depending on where you put your flowers. I guess I'll use glue dots because I can't get the tape to work there, so just a couple little glue dots will work. And glue my lid on. Isn't that adorable? So now I have my lid on my jar. And now I'm going to put the glue dots on my flowers and put them on, making sure that wherever I put the flowers, the glue is not passed. So right there, it looks like a good place. And I'm thinking, right, what do you think? Yeah, that looks good. So now I have my jar done. So now that I have everything good and I think my mechanism is working good, popping up right where I want it to pop up, now I can take and put adhesive on the back of this last piece. So just put your adhesive. And then I'm going to lift that piece I told you not to push down and line it up with the corner. And then put adhesive right here. And shut that. And what do you think? Isn't that adorable? Okay, now I'm going to take my, and you could do this under the first layer if you want, or across the whole back. But I'm just going to take this. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back to hold it. And then you can either tie a knot or a bow, whatever you want to tie. I just love this bias tape or ribbon. Isn't that cute? Okay. So there's your card. That will, when you put it in there, just push it up. And it pops right up. And then we're going to go ahead and put a sentiment place on the back. Now I used the swirly frames. I just think this set is so classy. And I stamped once. I'm going to go ahead and, this will be a place for the sentiment to go on the back. And that will cover up most of that. So there's a place for the sentiment, so you can write whatever you want to write on the back. What do you think? I think it's adorable. So I hope you enjoyed this product or this project. If you'd like to order any of the products that I used, all the stamp bundles, the swirly frames, you can find all this product and more at journeytime.stampinup.net. Be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can see all my upcoming videos. And if you hit the little bell, they'll notify you when I put a new one out. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day. Stay safe. Have a good day. Bye-bye.